So you've not seen our main film of the week, have you? Which is Mank.
No.
No? Well, you know what? I'm going to do a brief bit about Mank anyway.
Well, I moved house, so...
Yeah, alright. Well,
Okay.
Some of us have less grown-up things to do, like watch David Fincher films. Mank... Now, right, before I get on properly with Mank, I've got to address the elephant in the room, which is, there's a really snarky, critical quip you can do with this film, which I think everyone's been trying to avoid, so I'm just going to come out and say it. Mank, it's not Citizen Kane. Thank you, I'm here all week.
Oh, right, I see, because it's about Citizen Kane, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to say, that was really weird doing that joke and having, just no reaction because you're on a delay. I'm like, is it funny? Anyway.
It's poor. I'll tell you how low class my thought was. I thought the joke you were going for was, Mank, that's Manky.
I mean, that's sort of the point of the joke, was I was going one way and then went the other. Because there's a very clear one. Anyway, that's not far from the truth. So Mank is a biopic about what's his first name? Herman Mankiewicz? Something with an H. But the writer, or disputed writer of Citizen Kane, which,
Continue.
Classic film. Sorry, were you trying to say something?
Ignore me. Just go.
Sorry, I did. I can't, there's a delay. I'm going to keep talking. I hope it's okay. So it's interesting. So for the backstory is basically Citizen Kane, directed and starring Orson Welles, and he supposedly he claims he wrote it, but the story is that he got Mankiewicz to write it and then basically stole the credit and sort of fought him for it, which in itself isn't a bad idea for a film. Unfortunately, Mank the film doesn't really do that at all. It's basically, I think the best way to summarize it is it's like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but of Fincher, in the sense that there's just like no plot. This sort of navel gazing. Ignore what I was saying. That's not a word. The navel gazing of like old Hollywood. It's basically a film of people doing stuff in the sort of the worst way. But yeah, so like normally in a review I try and do some summary of plot. Sorry, are you trying to say something?
No, continue.
No? Okay. So I try and do a summary of the plot. But the plot is basically, he's trying to write Citizen Kane. Meanwhile, we'll cut to him talking to other famous people in Hollywood of the 30s and 40s, and then cut back to him writing some more of the script. Does what he's writing match up with what he's experiencing? Not really. Is what he's doing outside of writing the script interesting? Not really. Is Orson Welles even in the story for like 2 minutes? In fact, the entire conflict about fighting for who wrote it and the writing credit is squeezed into the last like 4 minutes of the film. And until then, it feels like it's killing time. Yeah. That's the thing. What you'd think would be the major conflict, the point of this story is just not in it. Which is kind of why I bring it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Because it's the same thing, we're just wasting 2 hours of time. And the point is right at the end as an afterthought. And it's... I don't know. See, because I was going to get you to watch this so we could discuss it. But you know what? Not worth your time. So you probably got off easily there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
You haven't sold it to me,
no.
To be honest.
I mean, it's going to be a short review because there's honestly not a huge amount to say about it. Otherwise, it's just not nothing really happens in it. But I will sort of conclude with, it doesn't feel at all like a Fincher film. And I don't know about you, but I'd consider Fincher as at least somewhat an auteur director. Like, I think there's a very sort of distinctive
feel. Did he do Twin Peaks?
No, that's David Lynch.
I get really confused between those two every time.
I used to. But no, Fincher is Seven and Fight Club and Social Network.
Right, yeah.
And Gone Girl. So, but just thinking of those films, there's a very distinctive, like, like the sort of the mood, the sort of there's like a sort of a tone and a texture of David Fincher, which you sort of come to expect, but this film just doesn't have it. It does the black and white thing, but it's just not. I don't know. There's just none of his flair in it. It just feels very, very dry and very sort of curmudgeonly and sort of old-fashioned. And I know it's an it's set in the 40s. It's evoking that, but it feels creaky. It feels old, and it's a new film, and like it's not in a good way, in just a sort of a tired way.
Yeah, and there's like little to no content.
Yeah, it feels like oh, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh well.
That would be cut.
Oh, that would be cut. There we go. I've just remembered. Look at us, broadcast extraordinaires.
Oh, okay.
But I was gonna say, if it just feels like a film that's completely run out of energy, like from the word go. It just feels so sort of sedated, and like it's the film equivalent of an elderly Saint Bernard lying on a floor, gently dozing. And that's my review of Mank. Oh, one last thing. Gary Oldman as Mankiewicz is really good. Because he spends the whole film. Basically, the only thing worth seeing the film for is Gary Oldman doing these like really sort of like witty quips, like sort of very very eloquent, sort of extravagant burns on all the sort of people in Hollywood and all the sort of the tycoons and business giants. That's really interesting. Like there's a scene near the end at a party with like the big sort of Rupert Murdoch-ish character of the 40s. I've forgotten his actual name because research. But it's who Citizen Kane is based off. But basically he gets drunk at this party and just starts slagging everyone off. And that's probably the highlight scene of the film. Just constant Gary Oldman being a badass. But otherwise, can't recommend.
Fair enough.
That's Mank.
We've got some more questions. Is it Oscar bait?
I would... I resist saying bait, but it's certainly like Oscar bait. Like I don't think so. My defining feature for bait is like it was made solely
diet
for
Oscar
awards.
bait.
Yeah, like I don't think it was made solely for award ceremonies specifically, but I think it embodies a lot of the same tropes that Oscar bait would. It feels like Oscar bait, but I don't think it is. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you done with Mank? Have you got anything more to add?
I mean, I'm done with it. Would you? This is where I'd ask you for your opinion, but
okay. Oh no, I'll give you my opinion, Nick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's well informed because obviously I watched it.
Oh, of course, absolutely.
I actually lied earlier. Instead of moving house, I just watched Mank on repeat for 72 hours.
You're the world expert on Mank now.
Yeah, the leading expert.
Yeah. Have you booked in that appointment for Mastermind yet?
Yeah, next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Is the series starting already? Wow.
Yeah, I'm on the first episode actually.
Oh, excellent. I'll set up my DVR to record that.
Yeah, you should. You should. I thought it was pretty boring.
Oh wow, look at that! Such same opinions. We're so in sync.
Yeah. If you want to hear more about Mank, you can come to my blog where I've written a 33,000-word essay on it that only 2 people will ever read in their life. It's called Binny Campbell's at blogspot.com.
Oh, really? That sounds fascinating. Maybe I'll give that a read. Like the good friend that I am.
Don't. No one else does. Oh, sorry, Nick.
If anyone does care about the blog, there's a new post coming soon. Not about Mank.
Wow.